Russia struck with drones and missiles overnight into Saturday across Ukraine, killing at least 3 and injuring dozens. 2 Russian civilians were also killed in Saratov due to Ukrainian drone strikes. After an agreement between the US and Belarus on lifting some trade sanctions, President Alexander Lukashenko released 123 political prisoners, including Nobel laureate Ales Bialiatski.
European leaders have come out all guns blazing as they move to indefinitely freeze Russian assets just days after Trump slammed the continent as decaying and its leaders weak.
US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order blocking states from crafting their own AI regulations, warning that a patchwork of rules could stifle the industry. Russia struck with over 450 drones and 30 missiles overnight into Saturday across Ukraine. The attacks killed at least 3 people and injured 35 others on the Ukrainian side. 1 person died in Oleksievo-Druskivka in the Donbas region. In nearby Konstantinivka, 2 others were killed as Russia hammered the area with over 17 attacks in 24 hours. President Volodymyr Zelensky said the strikes show Russia's ongoing terror against civilians. Also, 2 civilians were killed in a Ukrainian drone strike on Russia's Saratov region overnight, as Russia's defense ministry reported downing 41 Ukrainian drones. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko pardoned 123 political prisoners on Saturday. Among those released are Nobel laureate Ales Bialiatski and opposition leaders Viktor Babarka and Maria Kolesnikova. Their release was the result of an agreement reached with the United States to lift sanctions on Belarusian potash fertilizer exports. U.S. Special Envoy John Cole announced the sanctions relief after productive talks with Lukashenko in Minsk on Friday and Saturday. The potash industry represents about 4% of Belarus's GDP and was sanctioned after the disputed 2020 election. Cole said more sanctions could be lifted as relations normalize. All freed prisoners are deported, including the forcibly exiled 109 Belarusian citizens to Ukraine. From her office in Vilnius, Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, widely regarded as the legitimate representative of the people of Belarus, reported that some prisoners are also sent to Lithuania. Bialiatski is currently at the US Embassy in Vilnius.
After months of political wrangling and a flurry of criticisms issued by U.S. President Donald Trump last week, European leaders have come out with a strong response. In an audacious move, the European Union have decided to indefinitely immobilize Russian assets held in EU countries, worth a whopping 210 billion euros. An emergency clause in the treaties was triggered this week to freeze the overseas holdings owned by the Russian Central Bank. The measure comes just days after Trump labeled Europe a, quote, decaying continent and called its leaders weak. With one bold move, the bloc was able to push back against external interference and insulate the large sum of money from the Kremlin's war machine. The bulk of the assets, some 185 billion euros, are held at Euroclear, a central securities depository in Brussels. The remaining 25 billion are spread in banks across 5 other EU member states. Until now, the funds have been paralyzed under the traditional sanctions scheme, which requires renewal by unanimous vote among the member states biannually.
The massive industry.
US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order blocking states from crafting their own AI regulations, warning that a patchwork of rules could stifle the industry.
We're getting them rapid approvals.
Trump argued that competing with China requires a unified approach, saying there is only going to be one winner. The order directs the Attorney General to challenge state laws that threatens to withhold federal funding from states with conflicting AI rules.
Important economic question.
Meanwhile, billionaire David Sachs, Trump's AI policy lead, claimed the administration would target only onerous regulations, though critics argue that this removes vital oversight.
Over 1,000 bills going through state legislatures.
States like California and Colorado have already passed laws addressing AI bias and transparency, which this federal move could now override.
What's that all about? Okay.